Is Toyota making a mistake going all hybrids or most of their models switching to hybrids in 2025 and 2026 and onwards? In today's video, I want to share with you my humble 2 cents about that because a lot of folks are concerned, like, I don't want to get a hybrid. Why are most of these models are turning all hybrids? Let's get started with the video. We'll talk about it some more. So Toyota started switching a lot of models to hybrid only. The Sienna is hybrid only. The Camry is hybrid only. Now the RAV4 is hybrid only. I mean, these are some models that are pretty popular. And slowly you will start to see most of these models just drop the gasoline model altogether, switch to hybrid. And now almost every single model out there has a hybrid variant. Here's the reality in 2026, folks. Hybrids have simply become more reliable than non-hybrids. And some folks will jump out of the seat and say, how come that is the case? That is the case. Let's examine through where are we at today. See, majority of these cars are equipped with an let's say front-wheel drive configuration, like this Grand Highlander here. They're equipped with an 8-speed transmission. That 8-speed transmission is expensive, it's complicated. They are having some issues with it. And then made it to that 8-speed usually is a 2.4-liter turbo engine. Everybody really dislikes the turbo engines. But you look at almost all hybrids, except like the single motor hybrids or the performance-oriented hybrid max, they don't have turbos. They all have naturally aspirated. And they all have a single engine, the 825A, which is a really good engine lately. And then the hybrid system, they've gotten down so well that they have very little issues. I mean, they will have the occasional recall, occasional problem here and there, but not major design issues because the design has been pretty much similar. They're just improving on it over time. Let's dive into a little bit into the hybrid system and talk about component by component and what's the pluses and minuses, because pretty soon you want to buy a new car, you can only buy a hybrid, and that's a concern for some folks. So let's dive into it. Transmission. We talked about the engine briefly. Let's talk about the transmission. So most of these hybrids, the regular parallel series hybrid, not a single motor, they have they have a ECVT transmission, which has 2 motors, electric motors, and then it has a set of planetary gear sets in between. Folks, that's not to be mistaken with the regular CVT transmission that you hear horror stories about. The operating principles is of a continuously variable ratio transmission, but not exactly like the horror stories you hear. Because an ECVT transmission, since inception, I've been working on Toyotas for a very long time, and if there are Toyota technicians watching this, please comment down below. I have not replaced as many ECVTs as you think. I have replaced a countless amount of 8-speed transmission and a lot of transmission across the board. But I can, on one hand, how many ECVTs I've replaced in my career. And most of them had to do with accidents, things that are outside elements, not the transmission itself, with the design or the production. That's a reality, folks, because these transmissions, there isn't much to them. It's kind of like a manual transmission. You change the clutch, but there isn't much else you will do with it under normal use unless it has a problem from production or design or whatnot, but they usually last a very long time. It's the same thing with the ECVTs. So ECVTs, they're pretty robust. That's my experience with them. That's the transmission. I mean, the transmission usually is one of the biggest expenses in a car when it goes. And then the engine. We talked about it. They don't have turbos, which is good. Then what about the rest of the complication? You know, you open the hood, you look at this engine bay, it feels like, oh my God, there's all this complication. But folks, in reality, there is no complication. This system is a lot less complicated, and Mark, this is going to be interesting, a lot less complicated than what's actually inside of an 8-speed automatic transmission. That's the interesting part. So what you're seeing here is something called an inverter-converter assembly. This is what makes the switches. You have a hybrid battery in the back, You have two motors, both of them can charge, one of them can start the engine, one of them can drive the car. This takes power from the battery, powers the motor. When the engine starts, it sends power to that motor to start the engine. When the engine starts and that motor starts generating, it sends that power to the battery, and it just makes these switches, powers up the air compressor that is high voltage powered. But it's all contained in one unit. Yes, you see all these wires and whatnot, but folks, things have come a very long way. Things have gotten smaller, more compact. It's one unit that sits in many, many, many models. It's a very familiar system. You don't have a lot of issues with them anymore. Occasional production thing here and there, but not something chronic. Since the third generation hybrid system, we haven't really seen a lot of issues with inverters, which is very nice. Now, some of you may be asking, well, I don't want to get stuck with this hybrid and all this maintenance and all this stuff that needs repairing. Well, let's dive into that a little bit deeper, because extra maintenance, let's talk about it. Leave the battery conversation last, but let's talk about them. You have some extra maintenance, but you have negative maintenance as well. I hope that makes sense. For example, you have an additional cooling system for that inverter. That's one additional cooling system you got to service, and that's it. There isn't much to that. And then you have the filters for the hybrid battery, or filter, depends on the model. There is a cooling system for the hybrid battery that has filters because it's air cooled that you got to clean, keep an eye on, which is a very inexpensive filter, super DIY to do, not something, expensive or complicated. No, not really. Then you have the negative maintenance. You have no starter, no alternator. The brakes last a very long time with hybrids because you use regenerative braking. You get good gas mileage. They have come such a long way with reliability that everything else is just there and it works. But what about the hybrid battery? Because that's the number one concern with anyone buying a hybrid car in 2025, 2026. Let's talk about that. The hybrid battery is probably one of the biggest concerns for new hybrid owners, that how long is it going to last? It's so expensive, so this and that. Here's something very interesting. So I'll share with you my humble 2 cents. I own a shop that we specialize in Toyota and Lexus, and we do specialize in Toyota hybrids. So basically from 9 to 5, all I work on is Toyota and Toyota hybrids and Lexus hybrid. How many hybrid batteries do we do every week? What would you think that number is? Well, I'll tell you something. Most of the time is 0. And then how many do we do every month? Maybe 1, more likely 0. We don't actually do a lot of hybrid batteries that folks are so concerned about. The most we do on hybrids is maintenance. Or, and this is the important part, undo repairs that were done incorrectly. That's usually a common thing with hybrids. Folks, hybrid batteries have come a very long way, and awareness of how to take care of that battery have come a long way. So let's talk about it. First, the warranty on these batteries have gotten pretty long, and manufacturers don't just wake up one day and say, you know what, we know we have a horrible battery that's going to fail. We're just going to extend the warranty and create a giant loss for the company just because we want to look good. They don't do that. The reason they extend warranties on hybrid batteries is because they have felt confident enough about them that majority of them, if not all of them, are going to last beyond that warranty. So let's extend the warranty to give people kind of peace of mind so we can sell these cars. That's usually why that happens. Hybrid batteries over the last 10 years have gotten so much better that failure rates have dropped significantly. That's the first thing. Second thing I noticed, their prices have come down because it's all about supply and demand, folks. If you go back 20 years, batteries were a lot more expensive. That's the interesting part, because the batteries themselves were a lot more complicated. There's a lot more giant computers and a lot of components to keep them going. But the newer the cars get, the simpler the batteries get, because things have gotten so much better. They're compact, they're smaller, they don't have as many components, so they're getting cheaper. And the labor to replace them have gotten a lot cheaper. Like you go a 2006 Highlander, you are short of disassembling the entire car to replace the battery. This 2026 Grand Highlander, not really. It's actually very simple. We go on another one, third generation Toyota Prius. You don't have to disassemble half the car, but it's pretty involved. It's not something very simple. You go to a 2016 Toyota Prius. It's a lot simpler. I mean, it's something so simple. They've made it super simple. It doesn't take you more than an hour to replace it. That's how simple they've gotten. And the reason with all these changes, because things gotten better. And that's the best part. Something else you need to be aware of hybrid batteries, if you're concerned about them. Folks, don't park your car for 6 months on a time without even starting it once, and then drive it for 2 weeks, then park it again 6 months. That's not good for any battery. Even your 12-volt battery will die. Imagine the high voltage battery doing that too. That's the first thing. The second thing, don't ignore that filter. For newer cars, I mean, for the past 10 years, we've had filters now. This hybrid battery is air-cooled. Any battery that gets super hot is going to decrease its life. This battery is air-cooled. It's going to take air from inside the cabin that is air-conditioned to cool down that battery. Well, that intake, if it gets clogged with lint, objects, whatever the case may be, it's going to overheat the battery. And something you need to know, when these batteries overheat, this car won't shut off, because it's going to create a hazard if it just shuts off because, oh, the battery's a little hot. It's not going to do that. They're not electric cars, folks. You run that battery hot continuously and the fan is blaring all the time, it's not able to keep up, you're going to significantly shorten the life of that battery. That is one thing you need to be aware of. So usually in the last 10 years, at least, even beyond that a little bit, they started putting filters and paper filters. Very easy to replace, very easy to clean or service or whatever you want to call it. I highly advise you actually do it yourself. It's very simple. At least check them yourself. Know where they are. As soon as you buy a hybrid, where is the hybrid fan filter, so we can be aware of it, not block it, and keep it clean. Just by doing that, you already prolong the life of that battery. Folks, I consistently now see up to 10-year-old hybrids with over 200,000 miles. You could not tell if I told you this car has 20,000 miles. That's the best part. I actually think Toyota's on the right track by moving everything to hybrid, because I see a lot of reliability issues with non-hybrids than I do with hybrids these days. I'll name a few. Turbo engines. Haven't seen issues yet, but it's coming. With the 10,000-mile oil changes, it's only a matter of time. 8-speed automatic transmission. A lot of problems lately. And I feel like we had problems in 2017, 2018, that they were resolved, and now they're back. I have a giant list of folks waiting for a transmission. It's an 8-speed transmission. Highlanders, Camrys, you name it. Hybrids, nothing. Nothing chronic. So I see why they're going that way. First, they got the technology packed down. Things have advanced so much that these cars have become actually more reliable than their gasoline counterpart. All the V8s are gone, V6s are going, but hybrids, you notice that they remained pretty consistent. Yeah, they dropped the V6 out of them because you actually don't need a V6, but they're staying pretty consistent. No turbo, same engine, same. You're noticing they're starting the copy-paste effect because they've got it packed down. 5th generation just came out, very quiet launch. We don't have a million problems. I believe the 25 Camry had a recall, something with production, not the design itself, a bolt coming loose or something. But you don't have a lot of problems with the 5th gen, which is a really good sign. Folks, I'm going to say this to folks who are concerned about, okay, they're going all hybrids, what am I going to buy in the future? I would consider a hybrid. Here's something about hybrids. They're not fun to drive. You have the drone of the engine and whatnot, and they're not usually fast. That's not their thing. But I will worry about not buying one simply because they're too complicated. Actually not. In modern standards, they're not complicated anymore. And service is, a lot of folks, independent shops are familiar with them already. There's a lot of kind of awareness and knowledge of what they are. And some folks will say, well, we're buying it to save the environment. Folks, buy it for gas mileage. That's the truth. Because cars have gotten so far advanced that any regular gas model will have the same emission standards. But the complication level of gasoline engines and regular gasoline cars have gotten so much that in 2026, hybrids from Toyota are becoming more reliable than non-hybrids. And that, I feel like, is why Toyota is pushing towards hybrids, because that's the way to go. Electric cars, you know, we had the boom of electric cars and all that, and now it's all deflating because it requires a significant lifestyle change. And a lot of folks are not ready to make that lifestyle change. Some of them do, and they're very happy, but most don't. Hybrids don't require a lifestyle change, and that's why they work. And I think Toyota is doing the right thing by pushing hybrids simply because they're more reliable. The truth have to be said. And that's, in the end, you buy a Toyota because they're reliable and they're well made. If they're not, then they're just overpriced. And hybrids is where it's at with reliability in 26. Folks, I hope this video was helpful and informative. I hope you learned something new. If you like it, consider giving it a thumbs up. If you're not a subscriber, consider subscribing to the channel. Check out some other videos. Until the next video, folks, may the Lord bless you and keep you, and you have yourself a wonderful day.